That's all you hear when those two are working on stuff. Bunch of yelling. Hey guys, welcome back. It's the 5th of July today, so we've had like 3 days off and half of today cleaning up the beach and everything. It's great to have some time off finally, but my body feels like I need another vacation. Too long, too much jet skis, legs hurt, knee boarding. It was good. I'm not going to complain because it was a lot of fun. But anyways, we got to get this shop cleaned out because we actually have Umberfirth coming out. They're going to do some cool upgrades to this Pro Force that we'll talk about later. And maybe going to do some testing for them on one of our sprayers to see if... We'll talk about that later. Anyways, we got to do some moving stuff around. We also had a really cool delivery that I'll show you guys here. I don't know if we'll get into that in this video, the setup of it, but it is going to be very nice for spraying. So it was currently very hot until about 20 minutes ago. It's clouded over, it's cooling off. I guess here on South Dakota, my prayers are with you because they're getting right now what we got a month ago. High winds, big hail. Luckily we didn't get no hail, but big bow echo, big storm, ugly. Radio's talking about it. My thoughts are with all the guys out there. The only good thing about when the tornadoes and winds hit this farm is we did not have crop out of the ground. Well, now obviously the crop's out of the ground, so now the crop gets beat up too on top of it. Damages to buildings and trees, and thoughts are with you guys. Look out, Duggo, you're in the way. Don't park in front of the Pro Force. You wish you were on the lake?
Why? There's a big storm coming again.
Yeah, I just talked about that. Fortunately, not to us, hopefully just some rain maybe.
Right. Okay, you got it right?
We don't need to hook hydraulics up. We just gotta get this.
Turn the crank and you can see, here, show, look at, they can't see what I'm talking about. All these hoses that are dangling, not put neatly away where they're supposed to be, you know
Yeah, I noticed also that a wheel tractor is much higher than a track tractor, so we got a lot of cranking to do. You're doing great. Excellent job.
Best job to do. Physical work after the 4th of July weekend.
Sweating abnormally much. How's this work? There we go.
You gotta take it off all the way, or?
I don't think so.
Is that good enough?
I think we'll be good. That's a little different view. Don't quite think this tractor would have enough ponies to pull it. Maybe at this speed. That's all you hear when those two are working on stuff. Bunch of yelling. Finally can unhook our seed tender. It's like we just pulled this out. What's all the yelling about?
Hello!
Hello!
I don't know what I'm doing!
You don't know what he's doing.
What?
I gotta watch this side.
Remember how close it was?
Yeah, it's close. That'd be a shame. Looking good. Keep coming. Keep her coming. Whew. That's close. I don't know how far back it was. Keep coming though. Looks good. You want to talk about the biggest pain in the butt to hook up? It's this thing right here. It is just, it's a struggle every time. Easy, let me through. Oh, way too high. go too high, the PTO shaft knuckles start binding. There you go, right there. So you guys remember this tank and the washing of this in the water containment center here. It's about 9,500 gallons in total, and it just isn't big enough. It works, but we end up hauling a lot from town, which gets inconvenient. Sprayers start waiting. Really don't like that steel tank either, because if the water sits in there, it turns to rust, and it just ain't good to have rusty water for your spray water. You want some decent water for that. We have not had screen plugging happening from that, which is good. But we decided, I seen on Instagram a guy had one of these things, and I'm like, well, where'd you get that? Well, here it came from a Hutterite colony west of here. They buy these. These are old fracking tanks. They buy them, they wash them out, they clean them up, they paint this polyurethane stuff on the inside, and it's actually no really metal you can't see in there, but it's an old fracking tank from an oil field in North Dakota. So holds 21,000 gallons. You can use it for fuel, water, fertilizer, whatever your heart might desire, and we're going to use it for water. I like the idea of it being portable, so it actually has a semi fifth wheel plate under there. That's why the excavator's here, because we had to lift it off the guy's truck, which was kind of sketchy because it's really, really heavy. And then it's got these wheels on the back for pulling it down the road. It's got brakes and everything. But long story short, we need to get this over there plumbed up for second pass spraying of soybeans, black beans, and fungicide application on soybeans and black beans, so we have more water. So having 21,000 gallons on hand will help a lot, along with having the spray tenders full of another 12 to 13,000 gallons will allow us to spray for multiple days straight without running out of water. So yeah, now we get to redo everything we did do here 2 years ago. Long enough for you? I am excited about this. I'm extremely excited about this. And I came up here to get that tractor to the shop. Well, I think Eric and Brody are going to work on that project a little bit. It's starting to sprinkle out, so we'll see if they get rained out of that project. But we got something exciting going on in the shop. I hear some noises. I think there's some people doing stuff in there. Tracks weren't big enough. Got to put bigger ones on.
That's right.
Eli just has to improve the product.
Bigger's better, man.
What are we doing today?
We are taking the 36 by 112 tracks, fixed tracks, swapping out with the 42 by 131 inch equalizer track. So
it'll be like a grain cart track.
exactly,
only.
they have the ability to pivot side to side or camber.
And why are we doing this?
So a couple reasons. They look cool for one. Two, that bigger footprint's going to alleviate compaction, so we have a bigger footprint to spread that weight out over. And then the equalizer function allows us to keep that footprint on the ground no matter what kind of terrain we're dealing with. So
yeah, that was one of our suggestions that we had that maybe got the ball rolling.
that's right.
So
There was a little birdie in my ear about that. So
this thing gets roaded with fertilizer on it, probably more than it should.
yep.
So the crown of the road, I'm like, I didn't like how these fixed tracks were kind of wearing in the middle and
Yep.
heating up more. And I'm like, it'd be sweet if you had the equalizer tracks like the grain cart that they pivot and follow the crown of the road. And
That is one thing we hear, the ability to equalize. You know, it's going to be great for infield conditions, but roadability and just adding life to the track, you know, we have seen advantages there as well. So, and then this one also comes with the auto greaser, so it's going to be greasing all the high wear components.
so we got to put that on too?
That's right. That's what we're here for. So we'll get it thrown on for us.
Sweet.
So,
Less maintenance for the big Swede.
that's right. He'll be in favor of that, I think.
So who should I put the camera on the most to make them feel the most uncomfortable?
Who should we crank the pressure up on? I don't know. Not me.
Not you. Well, while they are getting everything set up and unbolted. I'm gonna help Eric and Brody a little bit with their project. Hello, boys! Hello, boys! Think this'll do it?
No chance.
No chance?
Let's try.
We're gonna try it. I like how I'm working in the shop and you guys are out in the rain. At least it ain't 95 degrees anymore. Where'd he go? Oh, there he is. I've been chasing him around the tank. Oh! What?
Come forward!
Oh my gosh. I know what's happened. I know what's happened.
Forward!
You forgot to unhook the hoses, didn't you?
It was stretched fiddle string tight.
Tilt it back.
I could go off.
Forks are a little short. I didn't think this would ever move again. Now the question is, Brody, will that big blue one fit in here?
Better measure.
We better, we won't measure, we'll just ram. Well, believe it or not, the excavator won't lift it. We'll lift it up some, but just maxing it out, and for just being safe, we're gonna use the payloader without a bucket on, I think, and that'll lift it, I know that will. Then everyone will be safe, hopefully. Well, we got a new windshield, so that's a plus. They came on Friday and put a new windshield in it. Actually, you can see now, except for now it's fogging up. Well, I'll guarantee you one thing. You wouldn't move this around full. Unreal how heavy this thing is. Gentle. Well, my windows are so dirty. But how's that look? Oh. Should we move it tight to the west? Then we could use our ladder. Readjust it. We may have to retreat to the shop.
Yeah.
I don't like getting wet. Let's just throw the garden hose in the top and get her filling. So we get some
The
water.
hose still works.
Well, you stretched it some.
It should reach now.
Well, let's button up our manhole door and hope nothing leaks here.
Yeah, if you
Lots of ports.
you're still dry. If you want to go sit inside, maybe on the flower couch or something, we can probably take care of this.
This really fills up the parking zone here. Our big yellow tank ain't gonna fit no more. But our ideas with that is for in the springtime we can maybe put 1034O in that to have it on the yard instead of me having to run back to town really late and worrying about when they're closing. So that is going to have a use. This will just be really nice to have large majority of water on hand.
I don't know if it's smart to be up here in a lightning storm, but at least we're filling.
Show them the stream that we're gonna fill 21,000 gallons out of.
Should be done overnight.
Yeah, that should get her done. That should get her done.
Think it'll have some leaks?
I hope not. Try to pinch it so it don't crush the hose. There you go. That's just right. We got to get a float rigged up for this and do it upright, but maybe not when it's raining quite heavily.
Top so we get some rainwater in too.
Open all the ports, boys. So we have about 70 hours worth of pumping water at 5 gallons a minute. It might do 6 gallons a minute. It's gonna be pumping for a while. I don't think we need to worry about the float.
Can we go inside?
Yep. Who's driving the forklift with the wet butt?
You're the driest. You better drive it.
They're making progress. Those are a lot bigger. ready to slide them on, I guess. Forklift's got all it can do. The back end keeps bobbing off the ground. All right, it's a new day. Humberfirth's still working on the Pro Force. We had to send Dad to town to get more fittings because I thought that this was 3-inch. Turns out this is 4-inch on the front of the fracking tank. So we're gonna come out of this port here and then go to our pump. Then it will go to the spray trailer, but we're also gonna put an adapter here in case we ever want to fill in here for whatever reason. We have plenty of valves for other activities that we will not need, but it is what it is. It's about 11 o'clock today, and it was probably 5:30 when we started filling yesterday, and we've gotten it to right here. This sweat line is how much water is in there. So it says up there inches. I don't know exactly, but it looks like 3 feet. That would be about 7,000 gallons roughly in there overnight. Well, we have a somewhat disappointing problem. We got it, it'll work. We can use it. So we've got 4 valves right here. This one we can't open. The valve is seized, probably because of the excessive rust. This one's the threads are ruined in. That's the one we were going to use because it opened the easiest, but the threads are non-existent once you get in there a ways, and it was leaking really bad, so we took it back out, and we're using what we were going to use as our fill port for a suck port, which it'll work just fine, and we can use it, but now we got water in here. We can't disassemble. I would take this off and use this donut ring on this valve, which we probably will do in the future, but probably for the rest of the spray season, Brody, it'll be like this.
It'll work.
It'll work just fine. It's just not how I want it to be. So, I think we're good here. Pack it up and let's go spray. Well, they're pretty snappy. We barely got our bend foundation done, and they're here.
They're here already.
That's good.
I'm gonna go get in the sprayer.
You're getting in. You're ready to roll.
Yep.
What are you into?
Well, if it's gonna happen, it'll happen, you know?
What happened?
Well, there's debris of mass proportions as we're sucking the water out, the debris, things like this. Things from the
Pebbles.
center of the earth.
Oh,
It's
that
a
ain't-
clay or maybe toxic.
It don't smell.
Maybe poison don't have smells. Yeah, it hasn't been going so well, especially with the sun bearing down on my back. Oh gosh, shouldn't have to be this difficult.
So these 4 pipes here actually go into this big pipe mechanism inside, so I suppose the pipes all have the buildup. The tank's
Yep.
clean.
Remember them pipes we cut out of that other tank?
Yeah, I do.
Maybe we should have done that here. And also the grease zerks that are on these valves that no longer take grease, and when I try to take them out to replace them, they twist off, and they're made out of like titanium, non-drillable, and not a socket around fits them.
Well, you do remember that that's a left-handed drill bit, right?
Yep,
Well,
and
that's
it
good.
will not drill it.
Well, that means they're junk then.
So it's
Need some work.
we should have wore our t-shirts, which are available online.
In the link in the description, that's the struggle bus.
Oh gosh. Oh yeah, why not? Yeah.
All right, guys, so Humberfirth just left. They got the tracks installed. So these are the 42-inch wide tracks that they put on their grain carts. Not the 2596. I believe this is what they put on their 2096. I believe. Don't quote me there. We upgraded to the 50-inch wide for that, just for less compaction, more flotation in the mud. This used to have the 36-inch standard tracks, no tilting, So these tilt this way and this way, and are just all around a lot bigger, heavier duty track, and a lot smoother riding, better for roading. So when we were using this last fall, unfortunately we did not get to use it this spring. We just didn't have the tractor to use it on or the time, so we never got to use it. And I was like, how come you guys don't put these equalizers on the grain cart on the Pro Force? That'd be pretty sweet. And they're like, well, maybe we should think about that. So I don't know if they're going to put them on all of them yet. They're going to have an option of it. They're still talking about it, from my understanding. But that looks pretty meaty, beefy, cool. I like it. I think they should put those on them all. I'm excited for that. Should be a lot less compaction, should road a lot nicer, and I'm excited to see it in the field come this fall. We have talked about, we have to spread some oats on some cover crop. We might see if this can do that. I believe it can, but we're just putting on such a low rate that we might need something different. But we'll see if we can get this out and make sure the tracks are aligned anytime you put new tracks on. I believe they did do that, but sometimes they act different in the field. You got to tweak on them a little bit. But I'm excited for that, and that should be a cool upgrade to that machine. Now, with that being said, they did do some work to the sprayer too, but that's more of a prototype. We're kind of doing some testing there, so it ain't like a for sale thing. We're just gonna test it out, see if we suggest any changes, or maybe it works great, maybe they don't hold up at all. But they said not to advertise it because they don't want a million people calling up when it's just in testing stages. So we'll see if you guys notice what they did differently to it. All right, guys, that's all I got for you today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you in the next one. I gotta go catch Brody in the field. We are spraying second pass soybeans for weeds and also black beans. So busy, it never ends.